Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah everyone for attending, first of all. As you all are aware, we are honored today to have Massimo Saetta with us and Nick as well, who'll be interviewing Massimo through this talk today. And as many of you would have seen on the poster that's been going around, that Massimo, having been challenged through cancer twice, has come back better than before and fitter than before, and says essentially this is the strongest he's ever been. So this is a talk, questions, an inspirational journey to see how he achieved that, and hopefully for something for us to learn and gather from. And without further ado, I'd like to now pass over to Nick and just make everybody aware that we will be having questions at the end. So feel free to ask anything that you wish to. So I'm going to pass it over to Nick now, who will then run through some questions and enlighten us all further. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So just to introduce ourselves firstly, my name's Nick Wood and this is Massimo. Today's talk is about Massimo's journey, as just was mentioned. We're both members of Zephyr Cycling Club. Zephyr is a cycle club based in Tilford, just down the road from here. It's a club formed just 3.5 years ago. We now have 180 members. Of which nearly 50 are females, and we have age range from 14 as the youngest up to 75, the oldest. We're a club progressing very quickly. We have rides more or less in the summer 5 days of the week, in the winter a bit less, of course. We have overseas trips, etc. And we've got aligned with EMEA, your cycle club here in Tilford, and Ijaz in particular, who's a member of Zephyr as well as living here. We've supported the Ride for Peace ride over the last 2 years and really thoroughly enjoyed being participants of that. What we're interested in and what this talk is about the benefits of cycling to your health. And it's told through the eyes of Massimo, who's going to explain how he's overcome his challenges health-wise. So what I'm aiming to do is to ask a few questions of Massimo and let him explain to you. And as was said earlier, at the end, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to do so. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's go, yeah.
Okay.
Nick, before we start, can I just say, I was only expecting 5 people here today, and we've got so many people here. It's just amazing to see everyone here.
It is.
Yeah, that's
inspirational.
Great. Yeah.
So we better do a good job. Okay. Ready to go?
Yeah.
So my first question is, why and how did you get into cycling initially? How old were you? And what did you achieve in your younger years?
Yeah, I suppose we should maybe set the scene. So I know I don't look it, but I'm 41. And when I was younger, Nick, I didn't like sports at all. Absolutely hated it, you know. And that's where maybe you and I are a bit different, because when we were talking earlier on, you were saying how you grew up with parents who are very interested in sports and stuff, and you played cricket and what other sports did you play? Golf as well. So yeah, so you were very much kind of into sports, whereas with me, I just hated it. I wasn't interested. And my parents, they're both Italian, and they came here at a very young age. And my dad, he was very good at playing football. He always wanted to be a football player. And but he had a motorbike incident, and he had to stop playing. But so when I came along, he was like, right, my son's going to play football. So when he would get me up on a Saturday morning to go and play football, with all the kit and everything, and I would turn up, and all his old friends were there, and they were like, Mario, if your son's going to be anything like you, we're going to be rich, because your son's going to be, the best. But I was just there, I was just biting my nails, and I just wasn't interested. I was watching the football, but I didn't want to chase the ball. So I was never interested in sports at all. And then later in life, college, university and stuff, and studying. Even then, I went to the gym, but other than that, I wasn't really playing any sports. And then I started my full-time job, my career, and my role as well on the side was a sports and social secretary. And And there I was organising cricket matches and stuff. And I don't know any Italians that play cricket, Nick, so but felt a bit strange territory playing cricket as an Italian, but I had a go, and I was very good. But when I came to batting, I gave it my all, and as a result, I tore my shoulder and my rotatory cuff, and I had to have keyhole surgery to get that repaired. There's no other choice for that. And then I realised, right, I've got to do something, you know, and I can't just keep going to the gym and just eating rubbish because I wasn't getting anywhere. So I thought, right, maybe I'll start cycling. And then from there, I started cycling, and yeah, and I joined my local club, and that was maybe, 2010, I think it was. So I've been cycling for about 15 years now, on and off. But yeah, and I got my addiction.
What level did you get to at your younger years then?
Yeah, so I rode with a club, and then as I got fitter and stronger, I started to do some kind of like local races and stuff like that. But I never got any results, Nick. I tried, but I could never get any results in the races. And then, you know, as you said, with a club like Zephyr and stuff, doing those tours and stuff out in Spain and stuff, you know, we did that as well. And I got to travel around Europe and ride my bike, which was great. And then I thought, right, I'm going to take it a little bit seriously. And I got myself a cycling coach. His name was Matteo Carrara. He was an ex-professional cyclist. He raced with Lance Armstrong and a few other big names and stuff. And he was very good. And so he taught me to be better on the bike and be stronger. But again, I just didn't really have the head. You know, physically I tried, but I just couldn't get any better than, you know, I had aspirations to be really good, but it was quite tough for me mentally. So, but I enjoyed cycling. I loved it. It was great. You know, to get out and ride the bike was great. Yeah.
So, moving forward, did you realise there was something wrong with you health-wise? And what was your first reaction when you were diagnosed with cancer?
Yeah. So what happened was, later on in life, I settled down. I met my partner. We bought our home together, and we built that. And cycling kind of took like a second priority and stuff. So I still rode, but not as much as I did. And then what happened was, I was commuting to work, and I rode to work, and it was morning traffic and stuff, and I came off my bike and I landed on my knee. I was really worried about my knee. And I went to the doctor, and I said to the doctor, you know, I just want to get my knee checked out. And she arranged for an X-ray on my knee. But also, what happened was, when prior to that, a couple of months before that, in fact, I woke up with this strange pain in my neck. And it was there for 3 days. It was like a sore throat, sore neck. It felt slightly different than a usual sore throat, sore neck. But I didn't think much of it. And after 3 days, the pain went away, so I didn't worry about it. But when I was there at the doctor and she arranged the X-ray, I said to her, I had this pain in my neck, and she touched my neck, and she said, we'll arrange an ultrasound for that. And I had the X-ray on the knee. The knee came back fine. I was really worried about the knee, and they said the knee's fine. And the thing that I wasn't worried about, the pain in my neck, is the thing that changed my life, because they said, yeah, you've got Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I'm like, what's that? And they said, it's a type of blood cancer. It's you know, the lymph nodes were swollen. And on the pictures there you see on the slide, there's, that was the day that I had my biopsy. And you can see there from that picture, other than the haircut there, you know, I look perfectly normal. I look fine. But yeah, so that there was a lump in my neck. You couldn't see it, but it was there, and that was kind of a stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma, blood cancer. And yeah, so that
this
journey
time
started.
you started your treatment fairly soon.
Yeah, so that was, I got diagnosed in April 23, and my birthday would have been on the 20th of May, and they said, well, we can't start on your birthday. You know, you need to enjoy your birthday, have your birthday, and then we'll start the following week. So I started the chemo in May 23, and I finished in August 23. At this point, my partner and I, we were going to get married. We had a wedding arranged, and we had to postpone that. So that was quite difficult. But, you know, Nick, during my chemo, I was still riding my bike. I was trying. Yeah, you can see there. That's a picture of me there when, at that point, you know, I lost my hair, my eyebrows. I look very different there. You look very inflamed there with the treatment. But I was still riding my bike. I was trying. It was hard because, as a result of the treatment I was having, I was getting these constant hiccups and stuff. So riding the bike and breathing at the same time was quite tricky. But I persevered. I still tried. And that was good for me mentally as well, I think. You know, and there were days when I couldn't ride my bike, but I was getting out walking, you know, walking my dog and stuff. And that was just to get out and do something. And, but, yeah.
So did you put on weight whilst you're going through this treatment?
Oh, yeah, massive, yeah, because you know, they're giving you drugs. They don't tell you too much about them because, God, if they told you what they were giving you, yeah, I don't know what you would do. But but yeah, you see these things, and they've got these labels on them, and you're sitting in a room, you're intravenous, and you're having this stuff. But chemotherapy and cancer is a really strange one because it's when someone tells you you've got cancer and you're going through this treatment, it's I mean, for me as a man, you know, I think all men are the same. You just, when you're told you're not well and they say to you, we've got to do something about it, you just get on with it, don't you? You get it done. And that was my attitude. I just had to get the treatment done. But I'm not sure what's worse, cancer or broken bones, you know, because when you break your bones, you know how you've broken your bones and you can see it. But when you've got cancer and someone tells you you've got cancer, it's a shock because it's like, how does that happen? And then you're having this treatment and there's stuff, you know, medication going into your body. You don't really know what it's doing, but you know it's doing something good. It's going to make you better. So yeah, it's a very strange experience, but yeah, you get on with it, and that's what I did.
So how did you stay positive through that period of time? Because it's quite a lot to take on.
Yeah, yeah, you think, oh, how do you stay positive? I mean, you've got to look forward. Yeah, I mean, you know, every week I'd go to my treatment. It's almost like clocking in and clocking out. So you do your bit, and then I don't know how to describe it, but anyone who's kind of had chemo, it's like afterwards you feel very like seasick, very you know, and you kind of like just want to lay down and sleep. So luckily, you know, I was very fortunate. I had the best health care, and it was at Royal Marsden in London, and when I spoke to the doctors there, I was like, you know, do I need to travel to London to have my treatment? And they were like, no, you can go to your local hospital. So I went to the hospital here in Guildford. I had my treatment, and then when that was done, I would just make my way back home, and I'd get straight to bed because that's all you could do. And then you'd have a period to recover, and then on the days where I was able to build my strength again and get better again, there were the moments where I would find myself back on the bike for a bit and preparing myself for the following week. Yeah.
So what would you say was the hardest time that you had to endure during that period?
Not knowing if you know what was going to happen afterwards, because they give you, you know, a time frame. They say, right, you're going to start your treatment on this day and you're finished by this point, and you know, just not knowing how the body's going to react, you know, and but again, it's having that faith and believing that, you know, the people that are treating you are doing, you know, the best of their ability, and they are. You know, you see all these people at the you know, the doctors and the nurses, and you know, they're doing an amazing job, and you just you get on with it. But it's yeah, and do you know the other thing, Nick, is I'm not too sure I'm not sure who suffers more, whether if it's the person who has cancer or the people around that person. Because thinking back now, when they told me I had cancer, you know, I told my parents, and I went to my parents and I said to them, they don't know just yet, but I think it's cancer. And oh, yeah, my mum, she was just, oh, for her it was awful. But yeah, you don't realize actually the people around you, they suffer as well because they don't know how to behave or what to say. And I think I was fortunate because I had friends and family who just carried on being them. They didn't really change. They were still the same. And I think that's the most important thing. I think, you know, if you surround yourself with positive people, you will be positive and you will live a positive way. But if you're going to be if you're going to have this negative energy, then it's going to stop you moving forwards and progressing. So yeah, you've just got to think positive. You've got to believe in God above. You've got to believe in you know, that when you start your morning, your day, you know what you can do that day, and going for walks as well. You know, just walking the dog and getting outside, and you know that was a great thing. Yeah, and there's always people worse off than you as well. Yeah.
So just remind everyone how old you were and how long that treatment was before we get on to how you recover from it.
Yeah, so I was 39, yeah. So I got diagnosed, finished my treatment in September 23. But Nick, I forgot to mention as well, because in the beginning of 24, after I'd finished my treatment, I thought I was done. They called me up again and they said, we also found cancer in the thyroid. So I had to start the treatment again. This was slightly different, but I had to have my thyroid removed, and then I had some radiotherapy in May 24. But also, Nick, it wasn't just the cancer that, you know, it was at the beginning of 24. My relationship with my partner of 8 years, that had failed as well. So we were meant to get married, and that relationship had finished. So at that point, when I started my second treatment, we were no longer together. So I had to get through the cancer, and then if that wasn't enough, my partner of 8 years, we were no longer together. So at that point, you start to realize, actually, life can't get any worse than this. So what do you do? And then I was fortunate enough to find a coach who focused on transformation. So if you imagine, I was already 88 kilos at that point, so I had to really reprioritize and think about how do I become better and stronger. So his name's Harry Armstrong, and he's a coach and specializes in transformation. So we started in March 24, and by the end of that year, I'd gone from 88 kilos to 69 kilos. I started going to the gym and working on building my strength and confidence. By doing the weight training, I was able to get stronger. I was also focused on my diet as well, and just thinking more about what I was eating. And by doing that, I was then able to get confident again, riding the bike and pushing myself on the bike.
So would you say cycling has benefited you and been the reason you've been driven over the past few years as part of your recovery? And therefore, can you be in a position to recommend cycling to our honoured guests here?
Yeah, so I was raised a Roman Catholic, so I've always, I've gone to church, and I pray to God when I can. I wish I could go to church more. I really struggle to go to church, and I spoke to last time I spoke to my priest. I said to him, "I'm really sorry, but I just don't get a chance to come to church as often as I would like." And he said to me, "Massimo, don't worry. I can see you're a man who carries God in your pocket. Don't worry about it. It's fine." And so my faith is there. I believe in God, but for me, cycling, it's my church. It's a way, I mean, Nick, I don't know any other kind of activity, any other sport where, cycling. The first I've ridden on a bike is about 325 kilometers in a day. So it's like 12 hours on a bike. But where can you ride a bike and socialize with your friends and then enjoy nice food and see the outdoors? You can't really do that in any other sport. You certainly can't talk to your friends swimming, can you? So it's, yeah. But no, yeah, cycling's my church, and physically, mentally, I mean, oh, it's given me so much. And yeah, it's...
So do you think your current level of cycling keeps your cancer at bay in a way? And does cycling give you confidence that maybe you lacked whilst you were going through your treatment?
Does cycling keep my cancer at bay? I think it does. I think I'm not so worried about cancer anymore. I think what I'm worried about is now that I'm doing this cycling again, and I'm going to the gym, and I'm also running, and I do a little bit of martial arts as well, and I'm doing all this stuff. I wonder sometimes, maybe, am I doing too much? And like, maybe, am I putting my immune system at risk? But going back to your question, Nick, I think when you have something like cancer, you can't, and you get over that, you can't think about, you know, what if, you know, am I going to get sick again? You can't think like that. You've just got to think about not the person that you've been, but the person you're going to become. You've got to think about the future and what's ahead. And yeah, and I can honestly say, Nick, that even though I've aged, and I've been riding for 15 years now, and I've overcome cancer twice, I really do believe that I'm the strongest and fittest I've ever been. And to say that at 41 years old is crazy, because it's like there are guys in their 40s, and you know, their priorities aren't there in terms of doing some sort of activities or fitness. Their priorities are maybe kind of around work and their families, and these are all important things. But what life has taught me, for what I've gone through, is family, work, all these things are important. But who's looking after you, Nick? You know, who's going to tell you to get on your bike? Who's going to tell you to, you know, to get out and go for a walk, or, you know, or go to the gym, or, you know, what are you going to eat for today? You know, no one's really going to tell you what to do. You've got to do that. And, you know, people, we all care for one another, but we've all got our own lives as well. You know, I can't be behind you, Nick, every day. So you've got to kind of step up and say, right, you know, I've got to be accountable for my decisions and stuff. So I think cancer, for me, I'm fortunate to say that for me it's been a blessing, because it's made me realize what is really important in life, and work is important and stuff. But actually, my health is really important, and cycling has given me so much that it's that one thing that I just can't change. It's part of my life and my identity and who I am. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, clearly, I mean, health is the most important thing you've got in your life.
Yeah.
But so now, how do you see your cycling journey evolving over the next few years? And what are your cycling and fitness goals? I know you've got back into sort of racing again now.
Yeah. So those pictures there on the slide there, you've got Henry Furness there. So, I mean, I ride with you, Nick, and Zephyr, but Henry's also put together a racing team. And when I finished my treatment and I was getting my fitness back again, you know, Henry asked me if I'd join the team, and I jumped at the chance, because I was doing all this stuff in the gym and riding my bike and running and eating well. I was getting stronger and fitter, but I wasn't doing anything with it. So it was like, okay, yeah, I'll join this team. And but going back 10 years ago, as I said, I was doing some races. I never got any results. And then I started racing again, and the first race I did, I got third. I was really happy with that, Nick. And then I did another race, and I think I got sixth. So I managed to get enough points to get into the next category. And but I've been trying to do that for years. I've just never been able to do it. But for some reason, because of maybe what I was doing in the gym and eating well and riding my bike, but also I got my hunger back as well, because I've been through this, you know, this illness and whatever. I was strong again. It's almost like I had that hunger in me to. I had no fear, because it's kind of like you've been through that hell, actually it can't get any worse. So yeah, so then I had that hunger again, and maybe that's maybe what I was missing before, because I had this luxury of yeah, I maybe just mentally I wasn't really there, which is why I wasn't getting the results. But then I had this hunger again. I felt stronger, and I felt right. I've managed to beat cancer. I can jump onto the next thing. And maybe that was the drive I was getting to get some results in the races. So next year I want to carry on doing what I'm doing, and just really focus on the intensity and build up my just keep building on what I'm doing. Yeah, and I think that's what I'm going to focus on.
So, what would you say to others facing a setback like you've had, who want to get back into sport or fitness, and what advice can you give to people in that situation?
Yeah, I think again you've got to start gradually as well. I think that's the other thing. So when I finished my treatment and I started doing something, I didn't jump on the bike straight away. Actually, I think I started first just getting out fast walks and then going to the gym. And I was lifting light weights as well, pushing light weights in the gym. I think I was, when I was doing my bicep curls and stuff, I had like a 10-kilo dumbbell, and there were guys next to me with bigger weights, and they wanted to get bigger and stronger. But you can't look at them. You've really got to look at where you are, and yeah, take your time. I mean, it took me 9 months to I wish I could show you photos of before and after, but in 9 months, I was really able to transform my body, and I felt stronger again. I felt confident, and it was great. But don't rush. Your body will tell you, just like my body was telling me I had cancer. There are signs. You've got to really listen to your body. Don't ignore it, and don't compare yourself to anyone else. Your body will tell you, and take your time. And if I can do this at 41, you've got plenty of time. And Nick, how old are you? Tell everyone how old you are.
I'd rather not say, actually. I'm 67.
Yeah, but what are you doing, Nick? I mean, you're still going.
So I'm still trying hard at cycling, and in fact, I also got stronger year by year over the last sort of 5 years. I've only actually been cycling 15 years, and competing at fairly decent level now, and got lots of plans for the future, despite all the challenges I might have as well.
But age is just a number, really, and it just shows that the body is a marvel. And again, I can't emphasize enough, my body can go from the worst possible illness to, I think, the best, the strongest and fittest it's ever been. So, and I'm 41, so the body's generating itself all the time. And I think all these things will come together. And I think you've got to think about, how did I get to where I am now? I think you've got to think about your daily habits. And I think for me, I just focused on getting my steps in every day. So I was walking a lot. Everyone talks about doing 10,000 steps a day. My quality of sleep as well, making sure that wasn't interrupted, and trying to aim for 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep every day, staying well hydrated, thinking about water and things like that, and my food as well. Obviously, being Italian, there's so many foods that I can think of which taste great, but I've got to think about actually what my body needs. So thinking about re-educating myself about kind of proteins, fats, and carbs, and what my body needs, and having that. And all those things will come together. And then obviously going to the gym, again, I can't emphasize enough, but doing that was building the strength. And all these things, when they come together, I'm making a better version of myself. So I'm definitely a better person than I was 2 years ago, 5 and 10 years ago, and that's what we're trying to do.
And maybe just to finish off with the last question about why cycling is such a vital part, in your estimation, as something that helps fitness and health and nutrition. It builds everything together.
So say again, then, what was the question?
Well, just really around why cycling is such an important sport, in what it gives you, both at nutrition level, at fitness level, at mental level, etc.
Well, John, I think we talked about this earlier on, Nick, but for me, the best thing about cycling is that, okay, bikes come in different sizes, but the wheels are all the same size. So I'm quite sure, but the fact is, I can ride with someone else who's a lot taller than me, and I can beat them. I can't do that playing basketball, So for me, cycling is great because whatever size or shape you are, or age, you can all come together and you can push yourself as far as you want, as fast as you want, and so for me, yeah, cycling just offers so much. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, Nick, I love the racing, it's great, you can really push the body and go as fast as you want, but I really love the coffee rides that we do as well, just getting out on the bike, and just we do our little ride, and then we'll stop and we'll have something to eat, something to drink. And again, it's the only place where you can be in touch with your surroundings, outdoors, and if you want to, you can ride all year round, whether if it's rainy or sunny. But let's be honest, we only really want to ride when the sun's out, but you can ride all seasons. And and I can talk to you all day, Nick, and I can't do that if we're swimming, probably can't do that if we're running. And and then again, even in the gym as well, you can't really talk to anyone because you're there kind of focused doing what you're doing. And but yeah, cycling, we could talk forever, couldn't we? It's great. Yeah.
Definitely. So Massimo, thank you very much for your insight and explaining to everyone about your journey. It's very inspirational, I think. Maybe we can see if anyone wants to ask any questions.
I mean, on behalf of everybody here, I think that was truly inspiring, really, really was. I think there's a lot to take away from that and a lot of steps to take forward for everyone, essentially. But with that, I want to put it out to the crowd, to all the audience, if there's any questions, please raise your hand. I'll come over to you with the mic. If you'd like to ask Massimo anything in line with his journey, please.
Okay. Thank you. Just a quick question, and like I said, it's inspiring, your story. What would you say to someone or many people that have been going to the gym for a while, doing workouts and doing all that, and they seem not to be seeing visible results? I think you said you were in that stage also, but they've done it for 1 year, 2 years, they've not lost anything. In terms of if they are trying to lose weight, for instance.
I think I got the question. So I think what I've learned is that you can't cheat a good diet, and I think I think for me, I'll go, as a minimum, I'll try to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I'll have a program that I follow, and I focus on my pulling, my pushing, and my legs. But I think to lose the weight, I think sometimes and actually us cyclists, we're pretty bad in terms of diet, because I think sometimes what we do is that sometimes we might fast and then we'll go and do a long ride, or we might skip breakfast, but I think it's really important to to lose weight. I think you can't cheat a good diet. Really got to focus on what you're eating, but also, actually, people think just by going for a run or riding your bike, that will help you lose body fat. But actually, not necessarily, because your body's actually going to be using the carbs that it's been storing in the body and stuff. The best way, actually, sometimes if you just want to lose weight, is maybe slow down. Just by walking and stuff. So actually, you probably won't lose much weight by riding fast on the bike or running fast, because your body's not using your fat stores and stuff. But I think, I'm not really an expert, but I found, my experience, it all comes together when you're sleeping well, you're staying hydrated, you're focusing on your diet, you're doing that exercise as well, but building muscle as well. And I found as well, the more muscle you build, the more you can eat as well, which is great. So I find that I'm eating a lot more now, and it's great. But
a lot more good things.
Yeah.
Any further?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. First of all, I liked your journey. It was very inspiring. May Allah give you good health and a long life. And my question was that what made you like what made you throughout your cancer period? What made you like so like yeah, what inspired you for cycling?
What inspired me to
For cycling?
during my treatment?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think we kind of touched on this. I think it's really that there's no other choice. It's kind of like, what do you do? Do you either, you know, you're sick at this point. You don't really want to get any worse. There's only one option. You've just got to go forward and keep pushing yourself. And by doing the cycling and the gym, gradually I was pushing my body. And by pushing your body, you are getting stronger. You're physically getting stronger. Mentally, you're getting stronger. And these are all disciplines and habits that will better equip you for later in life, whatever challenges are thrown at you then. I really think that the other reason why, when I started my treatment, and maybe why it went, I wouldn't say well, but it could have gone a lot worse, Nick, right? But I think I recovered pretty quickly because maybe I had that foundation of maybe my cycling in the past, maybe. So I was
Your mindset was
yeah,
right.
I was relatively, fit. Not as fit as I am now, but even back then I was already the cycling, just riding out there on your own and stuff. You're mentally you're conditioned, physically you're conditioned. So I think all that was almost like it was like training, preparing me for this moment that I wasn't expecting. So it's almost like we do all this training, and then people are like, why are you training? Who are you training for? What are you doing it for? Well, for me, actually, I didn't know it was happening, but all this training that I was doing was preparing me for when cancer came, because it helped me fight through it. And that was only possible because I was, the cycling, all the other things I was doing before. It was conditioning me, getting me ready for this moment that I didn't know was going to come. So I think, that's why we do all this stuff, to prepare us for whatever tomorrow brings. Yeah.
Any further questions, guys? Feel free, come on.
From one Royal Marathon survivor to another Royal Marathon survivor, I see you guys riding in beautiful gear, beautiful bikes, and I've asked Ijaz many times can I borrow his fancy bike? He won't let me have it. So is it okay for me to, starting point, get into very basic gear and sort of that way, rather than right away invest in fancy bikes, or is that going to be a turn off for me? And should I just go for the super quality right away?
So the question was around bikes, was it?
Yeah, super quality bike, Hafiz Ijaz house bike, or just any old bike, basically.
What, comparing bikes?
No, which one should you start with?
Oh,
Should we take his
which bike to start with?
He needs an excuse to take someone's bike, basically. He's got a really nice bike. So.
Do you know, I don't know if I can find a picture here. There's got to be a picture here somewhere. So, I mean, look, there's me riding a kid's bike, okay? And then we've got, have we got a picture here of me? There was one where, those Santander bikes. Do you see those anywhere on here? Have we got me racing a Santander bike?
Boris bike.
The Boris bike, yeah. Oh, we don't have that on here, do we? Oh, there we are, yeah. So that was me racing a Boris bike. So actually, it doesn't matter what bike you have. It's all in the legs. It's all in the body. I mean, I don't know anyone who races a Boris bike like that. I mean, look, my hands aren't even on the handlebars. They're there on the basket. And that's me going around the corner. I'm not even touching the brakes. So, you can't see it on here, but that guy on the motorbike with the camera, he's actually smiling. He's really happy about that moment. But yeah, I think, I've had so many different bikes. I think it's, I think it's just getting on a bike. And we know someone, don't we? And who rides on a gravel bike. So they're, and they're riding with people on road bikes. And now you've got these electric bikes as well. So even if you can't keep up, you've got the extra power there. So yeah, just. Find a bike and just get on it and go for it, yeah.
Anybody else?
Assalamu alaikum, peace be on you. How's your family life now?
My family life. I'm very close to my mum and dad. I've got my sister, and she's married, and I've got a little niece who's 2 years old, and they live around the corner. And honestly, I mean, my niece, she's 2 years old, but she's like a fully fledged CEO. Like, I mean, she's so smart. It's and every time she sees me, she lights up, and that's my joy. But yeah, I mean, I'm 41. Me and my partner, we're no longer together. I mean, I do think about at some point, I'd like to settle down and start my own family. But I think, my focus has always been healing mentally, physically, and I think I've done that now. So I'm ready to focus on my next chapter. I think some people we live in a world where we need everything now, and you can't do that. You try and do too much at once, it'll never work. So I think, figure out what you want to do and break it down and focus on it bit by bit. So I focused on that chapter. I think I've done that, and I'll continue to do that. But now I need to think about, I'd love to start my own family, think about that, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Jazakallah for the insight. I just wanted to ask, was it hard to build muscle while riding the cycles? Because one is like building muscles and other one is like building endurance. So was it like hard to build muscles while cycling? Jazakallah.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good question actually, because I think you do. Again, I'm not an expert, but I'm telling you from what I've learned. I mean, how do you build muscle? You either build muscle by obviously going to the gym, but protein, eating protein, that builds muscle. And I think there's a rule where I think for every kilo you need to have 2 grams of protein, I think, a day. So I think I try and aim to eat around 120, 150 grams of protein every day. But I do about 15, on a good week, I'll do about 15 hours a week riding my bike. That's on top of my full-time job. So I work full-time. I do about 40 hours a week. And then I'll try and squeeze in about 10 to 15 hours riding my bike. And then without fail, I can honestly say, in the last year, I think I've only missed 1 or 2 gym sessions. I'll always do my 3 sessions in the gym. And with all that, you'll build muscle. But if I was to stop going to the gym and just do cycling, I would, I think my upper body strength, I think that would go straight away. I think, but the cycling, I think the legs. Nick, how are your muscles? How are they doing?
Not as impressive as yours. But I think that...
You've got strong legs, though.
I've got reasonably strong legs. I think what's happened over the last few years is much more focus on strength to improve cycling.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past, people would just say, get out and do more cycling and more cycling and more cycling. Now, in order to improve, your heart can only do so much, so you actually need to build some muscle in your leg.
Yeah.
And maybe also your upper body as well, which definitely improves your cycling ability. So for you doing racing, that's really critical.
Yeah, and I think so with some of the gym work that I was doing, so like on the leg press, I think when I first started, I think I was only doing around like 100 kilos on the legs, and I've gradually built up, and the last couple of months I've noticed by getting confident and pushing more weights, you will get stronger. But the most important thing is, don't always think about, how heavy can I push? Always think about your form first. Think about how am I applying myself in the gym or on the bike or running, because it's the application and your form that will help you make sure you don't get injured or, and form's more important than how much weights I can push, how fast I can go. Get the form right first and then focus on that.
Yes, Massimo, hello, how are you? Hello. Yes, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. It was very inspiring. So even I want to buy a bicycle and start riding it now, the way you were telling us. I'm from Africa. I came from Africa. So do you have any plans to come to Africa and have your bicycling club there?
Yeah, I'd love to go, won't you, Nick? Can we do that?
We'll organise our next year's overseas trip there.
Yeah. The weather would be a lot nicer there, wouldn't it? Yeah. I think anyone, I mean, the weather is changing now. I think if anyone's going to start riding, I would, if you've got a bike already, I would think about, what can you do to equip yourself indoors and just keep riding, because it's so easy to, me as well. I mean, if it's raining or if it's cold, Nick, I will come up with an excuse not to ride. And unless you call me or whatever and you say, right, Mass, we're going to ride today. It's rainy, but we're going to do it, then we'll do it. But I think getting prepared and ready, knowing that winter's coming, what can I do at home and have the equipment and be ready so that I can keep going during the winter. So for me, I don't have a turbo trainer. I don't have something at home to keep me going. So already I'm thinking I need to get a turbo trainer I can put at home, get the bike connected, and just start riding during the winter months. And I think that will help me prepare for next year.
Because riding overseas is one of the joys of our sport, and seeing different parts of the world and the beauty of some of the mountains particularly, it's fantastic. I mean, I've ridden in the Pyrenees and the Alps in Spain and South Africa and various other places, and it's truly inspiring getting out there. You feel you're doing yourself good because you're very healthy, you're enjoying yourself, you're socializing possibly, but you're seeing some wonderful parts of the country and the world that you can really take in that you can't possibly do so if you're in a car. It just gives you that tranquility. I think it's absolutely beautiful sport.
So I've been told by the producers behind the scenes that we have come towards the end of our session here. Genuinely like to thank Massimo, of course, and Nick, thank you so much, and for the lovely questions that we have in the crowd. And I hope that everyone has been truly inspired, and that we don't just hear this, think yes, and then walk out and think no, but we walk out and think maybe let's focus on the next step, and inshallah maybe we can. So Jazakallah, thank you so much. Thank you again, guys. Thank you, really appreciate it.